Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumara Pranamastu. With deep gratitude, we have done one more session of Bhagwan's Nama. Any sadhana is in itself is its own fulfillment. That we are able to do sadhana at all, we are able to do the nama chanting at all, is in itself a great blessing. And for a bhakta, it's in itself its own fulfillment. A bhakta does not seek any other fulfillment. Mere chanting the name is its own fulfillment. But then, today, we are in a situation where we need specific grace from God, for which sake we have to do this Nama Japa ceaselessly. And also, we shall go through an event or two, an episode or two, to relive the experiences of others, to remember and celebrate the gift of grace from Bhagwan. A devotee by name Bhuvaneshwari, Srimati Bhuvaneshwari from Cuddalore, has written a wonderful experience of hers. There was a neem tree, a huge neem tree, in front of their house. The branches spreading wide. And she says it was inviting problems from the passers-by. She doesn't mention what kinds of problems arose, but obviously it was too much for them that her husband decided to cut off the tree, even if with great reluctance. He was not for it, but he had to do it in the circumstances. And then he called 7 or 8 people, 8 workers, to do the job. One difficulty was a little distance away from the tree, from the long branch of the tree, was the transmission lines, the electric transmission lines, the high tension lines, carrying huge voltage over long distances. It was a little below the branch and a little distance away. So they thought it was safe enough to cut it so that the cut branch of the tree would fall a little distance away to the left side, On the right side was the high tension lines. And even before he called those workers for cutting the tree, he himself, Bhuvaneshwari's husband himself, cut off small branches, small ones. And then when these people, the workers, came, one of them climbed up the tree. The tree was in the form of Y. The main trunk was there, and then two sub-trunks, two branches, thick branches on either side, forming a Y. So the man who climbed up stood there where the main trunk separated as two branches, and he started. He said he would cut off those small branches first, and then it would be easy to tie up a rope around the branch, the heavy branch, and bring it down to the left side of the high tension lines. Bhuvaneshwari's husband said straight away to bring it down, but this man offered to cut off those small branches with the leaves before the thick trunk would be brought down. Unfortunately, had he let down those branches after cutting off, they would have fallen down very naturally to the left of the high tension lines, a little distance away. But unfortunately, after cutting off one small branch of the tree, he took it in his hand and threw it down, thinking that it would fall down like every other branch. Again, unfortunately for him, when he took it in hand and threw it down, it fell on the high tension lines. The one end of the branch was touching that, the other end was touching the tree. Immediately, a high voltage passed through the branch, and this man screamed high and fell on the branch itself, which was thick enough. He fell down unconscious. And below his feet, there was smoke from the tree. Now, naturally, all those people down there began to shout and scream, and many people began to gather from, there were 3 or 4 streets around, and all the people from all those streets had come down. They were all screaming, saying that, oh, he's dead. There's high voltage passing through him. He's dead and gone. And they started to beat their chest and head and cried aloud that he had lost his life. Bhuvaneshwari, who was inside the house all this while, this would have taken only 10 minutes, hardly 10 minutes, from the time the man started to climb up till now. It would have taken only about 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes she was inside, but as soon as she heard the scream, she came out, and when she saw what happened, she held her breath. She felt terrible, miserable, looking at the man just draped across the branch, like a lifeless body. There was no movement at all. She was so scared, and she knew the only one that could help in the circumstances, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. So immediately she started screaming, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. And then intensely, soulfully, she began to chant, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, please save him. Please, nothing should happen to him. Though he looked dead, Bhagwan, please save him. Please bring life back to this body. Bhagwan, please do something. She and her husband and the children, they went to the terrace. They climbed up the staircase, went to the terrace and looked from there, which was on par with the branch upon which he had fallen down. She could see there was absolutely no movement, and she was crying loudly, calling out to Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. She said, Bhagwan, have you not promised that when we call out your name 3 times, that you would rush help immediately? Why aren't you coming? Please come and save the body. Life is leaving this body. I'm seeing a departing soul. Please come, Bhagwan, please save him, save him. She was screaming. Her husband was also chanting. Down there, the people were also screaming, but for a different reason. They were screaming that he was dead and gone. And they were crying loud. She was thinking of his wife and the children, how they would be orphaned. And she began to scream louder this time, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, please come immediately before life leaves this body. And suddenly it struck, a thought came to her husband. It could only be grace. There was a wooden stick with a hook attached, a long wooden stick with a hook attached. He took it, and first thing he did was remove that branch which was touching the high tension wire on one side and the tree, the trunk, on the other end. He immediately, with the hook, he removed that. But below the feet of the man who had fallen down on the branch of the tree, unconscious, there was still smoke coming out. She pointed it out, her husband saying, look, there is smoke still. But then again she was shouting, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. And then the magic happened. The body, which was without any movement, suddenly the mouth of the man began to open and close and open and close. And the body went through jerks. There was a jerking movement. The whole body began to tremble. Then she knew, to her great delight, happiness, relief, that life was returning to the body. And again, with more fervor, she was chanting, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, please save him, save him. One of the men, all those people down there, they saw the movement of the body and they knew immediately that there was still life in the body. So one of the men there, he threw a rope. Slowly, consciousness was returning to the body. So this man threw a rope at this man, the man who had fallen down on the branch by the electric shock. And by then, he was fully conscious. He saw what was happening to him. His body was still trembling violently. And then he saw the rope coming to him. So he held on to one end of the rope. and he jumped down. Of course, he collapsed on the ground. His hands were still trembling violently, but he was down there with consciousness, but he had no energy in him. And immediately, Bhuvaneshwari's husband, it was an area, a remote area. Autos were not easily available, auto rickshaws. So her husband brought a motorcycle, and then this man was lifted by 2 or 3 people. He was put behind Bhuvaneshwari's husband, and there was one more man to hold him. And they immediately rushed off to the hospital, and Bhuvaneshwari went inside the puja room, sat before Bhagwan's picture, and was chanting vigorously with her entire being, saying, Bhagwan, he's going to the hospital. There should be nothing serious. Please save him. Nothing should happen to him. Bhagwan, please be with him. She was begging and begging. After nearly 45 minutes to 1 hour, she got the message that they were giving him glucose and that he was out of danger. And the doctor exclaimed, he said, this is the first time I have seen a man escape death from a high tension electric shock. He said, it's a miracle. It has never happened like this before. This is the first time. And of course, Bhuvaneshwari and family knew. The miracle was Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Yogi Ramsuratkumar happened to him. And then of course he was taken back to his house, this worker, and Bhuvaneshwari's husband returned. The next day, Bhuvaneshwari's husband bought some fruits and took some money also for him. He was to give 1,000 rupees for the work. He took 500 rupees, rushed to their house, and found that this man was sitting and talking. He seemed all right, and he asked his wife, he gave the fruits and the money, saying it was little compensation, but then the life had been saved. Then the wife said, sir, for the past 3 days, I've been having very bad dreams. The astrologer once said that this is a very bad period for him, that we had to be very careful. Despite the warning, he came for the work. And for me, for my part, I've been having very bad dreams. And every day in the dream, I would hear a voice saying, a call has come for your husband. You just take his name, he will be taken away. The call has come to the world of death. The call has come. The call has come. You take his name. But she would say, even in the dream, crying, no, I will not take the name. You cannot take him. You cannot take him with you. She said, for the 3 days I have been suffering miserably, completely frightened, because the dream was a definite warning. But now, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan, the Pankha Baba, had saved him despite the fate. According to the fate, he should pass away. He should die now. He should have died. But the magic of Yogi Ramsuratkumar's name has saved him. And then the worker said, I don't want to take this money. please give this money to the ashram of Yogi Ramsuratkumar. I want to offer it at the feet of Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Needless to say, this worker became, the whole family became ardent devotees of Yogi Ramsuratkumar after that. Bhuvaneshwari says, that's the first time I found out the truth behind the statement, where there is faith, there is no fate. He was fated to die, but my faith in the name of Yogi Ramsuratkumar had done the magic. And I knew whether I have relatives or not, I have friends or not, to come to my help in need, Yogi Ramsuratkumar is always there for me. Previously I used to feel weak, thinking if I did not get any help from the relatives or friends, I would feel very weak. I would feel miserable. But after this incident, I knew for sure Yogi Ramsuratkumar is there for me. That I do not need, if people don't come to help, it doesn't matter. For me, Yogi Ramsuratkumar is there. Even against the fate, he would come to help. And she concludes saying, such occasions are necessary because they make us realize the importance of God thought, the importance of chanting the name, the importance of invoking His grace in order to deepen our faith, in order to deepen our devotion to God. And that is why we are going through this episode. In the place of Bhuvaneshwari, we have lived the whole episode, experiencing the gift of grace from Bhagwan. We know that He is there for everybody. We have to call out with faith, desperately, soulfully, intensely. To the extent we are sincere in calling out, to that extent there will be grace. And it can work wonders. Again, there is a devotee by name Natarajan from Madurai. He says he's working in electricity board, he's an electrician, and sometimes he would be called to attend to the work in the night. They have night duties also. So whenever he went for night duty, he would chant the name of Yogi Ramsuratkumar 108 times before starting his duty. And that helped him through difficult situations. There would be rain sometimes, and there would be no electricity, there would be breakdown of electricity, and then he had to climb up the post and attend to the repair work. Sometimes throughout the night, the work. And it was dangerous, but he would be chanting the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar, attending to the work. And next day morning, the other man would come, report to duty to replace him, and then this man would say with sympathy, "Oh, you have been working throughout the night up there against all odds. You must be very tired." But Natarajan would say, no, I am feeling fresh. And he was. He was feeling fresh because he was chanting the name. So when you attend to these dangerous works, If you call out to Yogi Ramsuratkumar, take his help and do the work, if possible, with the name, or at least pray to him before starting the work, it will work. The name will work. The name will cast a spell of magic, and one would be free from danger and tiredness. So now this Bhagwan, at the very call, just by beckoning him, calling out his name, we invite a huge grace. So we shall submit our prayers now at his lotus feet. Bhagwan, we appeal to that boundless grace, that boundless compassion, that generosity, the divine generosity. Please free the entire humanity from the clutches of this terrible virus and bring back normalcy in every aspect of life, everywhere in the world. Enter those vaccines, medicines announced by the medical troops so that it will work and kill the virus instantly and once for all. And Bhagwan, please lift the falling economy. Give a boost to it. Thou art the Savior, and support all those steps towards the improvement of economy. And all those soldiers at the border and the soldiers, the COVID soldiers from different departments, working in different capacities, fighting the disease against all odds. Please give them protection, health of body and mind, longevity, and all-round well-being for the families, without whose help these people could not be out in the field fighting it. Please bestow your grace upon the migrant workers also to settle down with sufficient income. Above all, give us constant remembrance of your name, constant chanting of your name, with the awareness that we are only instruments in your hands. We should offer all our actions at your feet. Above all, Bhagwan, give us immediate relief from the present situation. Please arrest the spread of the disease. Remove fear from the minds of people. Only you can do it. We pray to you soulfully, intensely, again and again. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.